What you're looking at here is a color wheel, the Native American color wheel. So these colors represent all the nations of the world and the guardianship of these elements. Okay, so the red nations was given the guardianship over the earth. The yellow, air. The black nations, the waters. That's why they work a lot with the marine spirits. And the white nations over fire. So we were supposed to work together in harmony. But right now, the Gentile nations have the full control of all the elements. And because the earth returns right back to us, that's why they're hunting our people down. Okay, so let's see. In the reading of Deuteronomy, it tells you that Yah was jealous, right? Because we were worshiping other idols. You see? And it tells you that what he did, he gave his affection to the foolish Gentile nations of the world. And they have ownership of the earth until our time of captivity was up. And says they will be in our lands until the time of the Gentiles is up, and that time is now. That's why they're upset and they're hunting us down. So as you further go on here in the reading of Lamentation, this is when we were taken into captivity. This is when the northern kingdom fell, not the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom fell first. And it tells you, do not rejoice, O people of Edom, in the land of Uz. But you too will feel the awful anger of Adonai. Yahshua exiled for his sins will end at last, but Edom's never. So what they're doing is they're upset because right now our time of judgment has been lifted, and they do not want to give us our elements, which is the earth, right back to us. We're supposed to all work together in this world. And like I said, each color represents an element, and we're supposed to be in charge over this element. And that's why they're working so hard to destroy and get rid of the red nations, because we have guardianship of the earth.
I gotta tell you guys about this really crazy dream that I had last night. I just thought I'd share it with you guys. I still can't believe like what I saw in this dream. Kind of scares me at the same time. I'll tell you guys about it. So I end up going on top of this hill. It was like a valley, and there was this hill. There's like a hill there. So I was walking to this hill, and I see these 4 elderly indigenous men. They're sitting in a circle, and they have rocks around them, and they're sitting in this circle, and they're speaking, and they're dressed like from a long time ago, like buckskin, like buckskin stuff on, like chiefs, but like dressed from a long time ago, like they weren't in this time, you know what I mean? Like, but in this dream, one of the first elders looks at me, and he tells me to come closer into that circle. He tells me, and they're speaking in their own language, but I can understand them. But he tells me to sit down. Needs to tell me some important stuff to tell our indigenous brothers and sisters out there. And I look at him and I'm like, I'm dreaming, right? Am I in a dream? He goes, you're on the other side, he says. But we need to tell you this, he says. It's a warning. We want you to tell all the indigenous people about that, all our people. He goes, we were alive a long time ago before your time, he tells me. And then he starts bringing up like Custer and starts bringing up these different things, right? Like about like that time. Said that they were around that time. But he said he has something really important to tell me. He tells me just to sit there and listen. So I'm listening to him. And he tells me like the four of them that are sitting there, he says that they're there. He goes, we're your ancestors. And we're speaking to you from the other side. Because we need to tell you something, he says. Listen. And he starts speaking. So the first one speaks to me and he tells me that I want you to tell everybody to be ready. He goes, the Munyao, he says. So he says, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but what he said was, he says the white man. That's what he says. That's what he says, and he's not just referring to all of you, you know, nothing like that. If you're watching this, it's nothing to offend you. You know, it's, for me, I take it as like it's some people, right? That's what I think. But he starts going on about it, and he starts talking about these RCMP, and he starts talking about the military. He said that they were going to try to wipe out indigenous people completely. They were going to try to wipe us out completely, so there is no indigenous people at all. And that scared me. It shook me up. He said that they were going to try to take us out first, because all the stuff that's going on and how we're starting to finally have success in something, he was saying. They don't like that. About taking the land back, they don't like that. He goes, they know about it. He goes, you guys, they're gonna take you out. He goes, I want you to tell people that they're already gonna be starting that. That's what he's telling me in this dream. And then the other elder comes up to me, has braids, gray braids, has a feather on his head. And he starts talking to me. And then he said that anybody that has indigenous blood in them, even just a little bit of blood, he told me that if they're Métis, they're still indigenous. He said, they're going to get them too, he said. He goes, they're going to take you here. And he shows me this place. Shows me this, like, you know what a lab looks like? Kind of like a lab. But he shows me this area. And it shows them injecting these Métis with something that just completely, like, you know, like takes them out of the world. They don't exist no more. And I see them doing this to children too. And they hear them talking and they say, we're going to get every last one of them. So there's no indigenous blood, no bloodline. They're going to try to wipe it out. Kind of like how dinosaurs were extinct, that's what they're going to try to do. That's what he was basically telling me. And that third elder, he just told me, be ready. I want you to tell everybody that some of these RCMP will just be coming in houses. He says, our military, he says, they'll be coming out and they'll be taking out indigenous people. They'll be taking you out of your homes. He says, be ready. This is a warning, he says. That time's come. He goes, be ready to fight. That's what he says. And he starts like yelling about it, you know, yelling at me about it. Be ready, you know, like telling me, be ready for it. And that fourth elder, has a pipe in his hand. And a smudge bowl in front of them, and then they're smudging everybody, and he ends up smudging me. And he says he's praying. He's praying that our people's minds wake up. And he said, a lot of our people are lost. He starts mentioning all this stuff, social media, everything. He just starts talking about everything. He says that our own people are fighting each other, he says. That's not where the fight is, he says. And he says, you know, every color in the world, he goes, we're all connected, we're one. But this government, he says, this government is going to try to wipe the native people out first. And the people that are supporting them will be wiped out with them. That's what he was saying. And I was like, That's crazy. Like, is that really gonna happen? He goes, it's gonna be starting soon. He says it will be happening, and I want you to warn everybody about it. But he goes, everybody united, that whoever unites with the indigenous people, they will be stronger together. He goes, with our people. We will protect the ones that need to be protected, he said. He goes, if it's necessary, we'll protect the ones that need to be protected. And he says a lot of us will turn to the mountains where they can't find us because the mountains will hide us. And that's what he says. And he goes, I want you to warn everybody about that. You know, that, like I said, this dream shook me up. I was telling my wife about it. But please share this video. You know, this is one of my strongest dreams I've ever had, you know, like crazy vision, man. Crazy. We got to be strong and be ready, you guys, for whatever's coming. Love one another. You know, like, don't fight one another, because we're going to need each other in the end. That's my story, my dream. I hope you guys share it. And, you know, it's a crazy warning. Take care.
This flood that just took place in Mexico for the past couple of days is a lot more severe than the media is leading up. Matter of fact, the media is not even speaking up about this. I feel like this is another Hurricane Helene incident. Remember the incident that happened with Hurricane Helene in Asheville, North Carolina? This is literally another. Look at this, y'all. It's another incident. And once again, the media is silent. Do you guys know it's been 12,600 people that are unalived in this situation, and 32,000 people are missing? I bet you guys didn't know that. You guys didn't hear about that. Look at the destruction that this flood has caused all over Mexico. This is in, my goodness. And the crazy thing about it is, there's a lot of destruction happening all over the planet, and the media is silent. The infrastructure of Mexico is completely ruined.
12,600 dead so far. 32,400 missing in Mexico. The storms, the hurricane, the flooding, a lot of displaced families, a lot of people missing, 32,400, and confirmed deaths, 12,600.
There's a lot of cataclysms that's taking place around the planet that the media is completely silent on. It first started with Asheville, North Carolina, and it's a continuing thing. It's an ongoing thing. They're not speaking up about a lot of these things, but yet they want to talk about No King's Day and the government shutdown and all that. What about these lives lost? 12,000 people, yo? And then the fact of the matter is, they still haven't confirmed how many people were confirmed dead in the North Carolina Asheville incident. I believe this is a new norm, y'all. I truly believe this is a new norm. I've been telling y'all the shift is here, man. This is crazy. Let me know.
Rescue efforts are very slim. People are stuck in their homes floating down rivers, going into the Bering Sea. Entire villages wiped out. Please spread the word and let people know what is happening in Alaska, because this is mostly impacting indigenous Alaskans. Rescue efforts are very slim.
Tonight, the horrific images coming in, the desperate search for survivors now. There's been a deadly earthquake in the Philippines, dozens killed in this 6.9 earthquake as entire buildings came crashing down. And tonight it's feared many are still trapped under the rubble. Here's ABC's Britt Clennett.
Earthquake, earthquake.
This is the moment a powerful earthquake rocked the Philippines, leaving dozens dead. You can hear the screams of terrified residents in Cebu province. Models walking the runway during this beauty pageant, scrambling to get to safety. The bell tower on this centuries-old church toppling to the ground. The 6.9 magnitude earthquake striking just before 10 there Tuesday night, killing at least 69 people. And in Indonesia tonight, crews racing to rescue dozens of students after their school collapsed during a prayer service Monday. Officials still hearing screams from the rubble. Today, digging a tunnel to rescue 5 survivors. Parents gathering, desperate for word. I got here as soon as I heard the news, this father says. That school had been undergoing construction. At least 6 were killed, dozens more injured.
David, back to that deadly quake in the Philippines that violently shook buildings as it struck. Rescue efforts are now being hampered by hundreds of aftershocks. And this is less than a week after the country was hit by back-to-back typhoons, with another one on the way. David?
Yeah, the typhoons and now this earthquake. Britt Clennett with us here. Britt.
Affect everybody. The new quake disaster shelters I have footage of, and not only do I have footage of, and you need to sit back and listen to this because you're going to find it nowhere else. We talked about how there are smart houses for Cebu quake victims in Philippines. Here is the footage out, and people in the comment section mention that what are these actually for? We can see the windows and how they're structured, and we end up finding that even in the United States, USA Today, October 7, 2025, using shipping containers for emergency shelter benefits case studies. We're going to go deeper into what's going on with that as the government shut down impacts earthquake monitoring and early warning systems. They actually, before this, already had enhanced their earthquake warning systems in places like California, in the airport areas, and this strange bird activity that's we've been seeing on the West Coast, Philippines. Do they know what's coming? A map has been released, and we're going to look at what is going on with this strange activity. As the Washington Air Army National Guard, we have to tie into a continuity operation for earthquakes because they did it for the Cascadia subduction zone. Now, we found some deep evidence about these so-called shelters. Now, it starts with Cebu, and we're going to look deeper at this video clip here. Let's look at it right now. We found out that not only are they planning to do this in the United States, but in a different way. We found out in another country what they actually set up. And you can see the little bars on the ground, looks like basically the blocks on the ground for the foundation. As you can see, the military was setting it up. And we wanted to go, and you can see the people, they're now starting to get in there. But something specific happened to a population who got in these centers as well. And this wasn't too long ago, so we want to bring that up. We want to actually go in slow motion a little bit here. One part specifically, bring it up a little bigger so you can see inside of here. Now, everybody is going to be faced with this. In the comment section, what region are you in, and are you going to accept this? Because I can tell you right now with 100% certainty that there's going to be containers that they're going to be using for this earthquake disaster process. Give me a yes if you're going to accept this, and give me a no. Remember, I was a survivor of Hurricane Katrina. We saw it all, and we did our best surviving on our own. And this is why I want to bring this up again and be the first person to tell you about this situation. So, moving deeper down this storyline, this rabbit hole, guess what? Some of you said this looked like facilities where they would keep people in because of how the windows looked. I did a further study because in Turkey, earthquake survivors were put in the same type of facilities as you're looking at it right on screen, and they stayed in these things for over 5+ years. And guess what happened? after 5+ years letting them stay in these things, and these things are all across the country, all across the world, they actually turned these things into, it says earthquake survivors face eviction as container city becomes prison facility. Stockholm Center for Freedom reported this. They converted it into exactly what you said it looked like in the
Thank you.